Now here's the question. The question is, have you ever wondered why? Why is it that the hottest temperatures here in the United States, the hottest temperatures here in the northern hemisphere, if we exclude Africa, even if we include Africa, why are the hottest temperatures in the summertime not in the areas which are receiving direct sunlight, not taking place in areas which are 23.5 degrees north latitude or less? They shouldn't be happening here in Florida. They should be happening in Hawaii or places in Mexico. Why are we seeing that the hottest temperatures in the summer are occurring in Texas, Arizona, California? In this past summer, even in Canada, the hottest temperature in the Northwest Pacific heat wave was in Canada. So there's an answer to that question. The answer to the question, there's a few answers. One answer, however, if we just leave geography and demographics alone, one answer is that the days are longer the further north you go. But then the question becomes, well, if that's the case, then why are temperatures not the warmest at the North Pole? The answer to this question has to do with something called solar insolation. Now, the way to spell that insolation is insolation. There's actually a way to measure the solar insolation that takes into account the angle of the sun, which here in Chicago on June 21st is just about a 72-degree angle. Anything 65 degrees and up is considered strong sun. So St. Louis has a 75-degree angle. Dallas, Texas has an 81-degree angle. Houston, 84-degree angle. And I think Miami's 88-degree angle. And when you hit Honolulu, Hawaii, it ranges from 88 to 90 during the months of May, June, and July. 90 is the highest it can go. That's when the sun's directly overhead. So we have the angle of the sun, which anything which 65 and higher is considered strong sun. And anything between 0 to 30 is considered weak sun. And in between, I would say the 40s and the 40s, you could still get some warm days out of the 40s. Chicago today has a sun angle at noon or at Chatzosa 47 degrees. It sounds kind of low, but realize that in the tropical areas, the lowest it can get is 43 degrees. So we're still within, we still would be considered on some level tropical sun until we get under 43 degrees. And we peak at 25 degrees and it stays at it. Sun's angle is really low. Some people call it altitude of the sun, which is at 25 degrees for about a month from December to January. And in the summertime, we have a few weeks where it's 72 degrees, drops to 69 by the end of July. Anything 65 and higher is strong sunshine. And when you have days which are 15 hours long, that's where the peak solar insolation will be occurring. It will be occurring in that area. In fact, in the month of June, if you look carefully on the graphs that have been put out, it appears that 42 degrees north latitude, just about, perhaps Chicago is just about 42 degrees north latitude, and Detroit is 42 degrees north latitude. It appears that that's the area which is getting hit, that has the most solar insolation. That means that if you take an air mass, it's going to heat up. The highest chances of it heating up quickest are going to be in these areas. These are the areas which are receiving the most sunshine. The sunshine with most intensity is not occurring in areas getting direct sun because the days are only 12 hours long. It's occurring here in the Chicago area in the month of June. But temperatures are not hottest here. St. Louis, we are told that there's almost like a climate change. The St. Louis area, if you take into account the months of May and July, I believe you'll find that the solar insolation is highest a little bit further south than 42 degrees latitude. Something like St. Louis, which is 39 degrees latitude, something like that. 30 degrees north latitude, perhaps also anywhere between 30 and 40 degrees north latitude when you take the rest of the summer into consideration. That's where the hottest temperatures in this country tend to occur as well. Not the highest for the average temperatures, but when heat domes occur, they occur in that area. Plus, they also produce the hottest temperatures in those areas. If you want to go back to the Northwest Pacific heat wave at the end of June. The end of June, we have, light in Canada's 46 degrees north latitude. It's certainly very close to 42 degrees north latitude, and this thing occurred in the last week of June, so it really was right around the summer solstice, and even 46 degrees north latitude might even be higher than 42 degrees north latitude in terms of solar. I think it's the same in terms of solar insolation. Now, here's the trick over here, though. The peak is about 42, 43 degrees north latitude. After that, the solar insolation starts to go down, because even though the days continue to get longer, but the sun's angle becomes a critical factor here, and the sun's angle is just not high enough to override. It's not high enough. The long days are not good enough anymore to override the intensity of the sun at southern locations. You can get days which get longer and longer. However, that's only true until you get to the Arctic Circle. By the time you get to the Arctic Circle northward, those areas get the most solar insolation in the world at the last week of June, and the North Pole has the highest. It gets up into the past 500, and whatever measurement they're using, there's no place in the northern hemisphere that reaches 500. Some charts show 550 other than the North Pole. So on June 21st itself, the solar insolation is highest all the way up there due to the 24-hour days. But since it takes a month, maybe 2 months, maybe more for the air and things to heat up, and it's all ice over there because of the ocean, we don't see the warmest temperatures there. I think the warmest temperatures are going to occur right around 40 degrees north latitude. That's right before it starts to drop, and then there's a rise when you hit 66 degrees north latitude, when you hit the Arctic Circle, and daytime is 24 hours a day. That's when it rises again. But that rise, that rise is more significant than the rise at 40 degrees north latitude, but that only includes the month of June, perhaps some of July. The 40 degrees north latitude includes a rise even going back to May. So it's hard to say exactly which area is going to be the hottest, but it certainly is not going to be areas along the equator or the tropics, places like that. It's going to be in subtropical areas or even areas further north. Geography plays a major role in this as well, elevation and deserts and stuff like that. Either way, no matter what, we tend to get the hottest temperatures in this country during heat waves, places like Dallas, Texas, Death Valley, California. St. Louis, Missouri also is included, at least to some extent, in these heat domes. To a large extent, many summers get consistent heat and humidity. So, we're coming out in July. The sun angle drops to about 69, 68 degrees in Chicago, dropping into the mid-60s in August. And then in St. Louis, dropping into the low 70s in July, upper 60s by the end of August. Right now, today, the sun's angle is 47 degrees. 47 degrees, that's the sun's angle, and sunrise is 6:40, sunset 6:43. The day's 12 hours and 3 minutes long. Realize, when the days were 15 hours long, that meant 12 hours out of the 15 hours the temperatures were rising. The other 12 hours of the day, temperatures were dropping. So in a 15-hour day, it's actually 12 and 12. It's even. Right now, we have 12 hours of sunlight. That means temperatures are rising for 10 hours of the day, and they're dropping for 14 hours. So we have that low sun angle of 47 degrees. We're also closer to all these other places that have low sun angle. Even Miami today has a sun angle of 65 degrees. That's strong, but that barely makes it into the strong category. Chicago has had 65-degree angle sun higher basically the whole summer. I mean, June 21st is at 72 here. So even Miami, which is weaker, has a weaker sun right now than what Chicago had for most of the summer. And so this is why it's extremely difficult, pretty much impossible, to have a heat dome. Even if we were to have a heat dome this time of the year, it's going to be nothing compared to what the types of the heat we were experiencing this past summer. It could be something more similar to what happened in the heat wave of March 2012. You'll have highs in the 80s with low dew point air, more like a heat dome now would be more like a beauty, just a total beauty here. Maybe a little bit warm, but that's what a heat dome would be right now. Just the sun's angle is just so low, and there's really not much that we can do. Anyways, the forecast here for the Chicago area, we have southerly winds for today. Cold front moves through tonight. Temperatures drop a little bit for tomorrow, but those southerly winds come back on Sunday. And we continue with southerly winds on Monday. Monday will be peak heating, it looks like. And we're going to have high temperatures today, mid-70s, low 70s tomorrow, mid-70s Sunday, Monday's the warm day, low 80s, and Tuesday is questionable. Some areas may get into the low 80s, but near the lake, temperatures dropping into the low 70s, maybe even cooler. The shore water temperature on Wednesday, 65 degrees, the crib water temperature also 65. Waves are expected to be 2 to 4 feet today, with winds out of the southwest. Tomorrow, winds will be out of the west. Wednesday, we have that cold front comes in, temperatures mid-70s, and Thursday, mid-70s. We continue with very little precipitation, if any, for the next many, many days. But tonight, there is a chance for some precipitation. Cold front's moving off the east coast. It's very sluggish in doing so, but it will eventually do it, and we're going to see cooler and drier air move into the East Coast as this weekend proceeds. High temperature yesterday at O'Hare, 67 degrees, and the lakefront as well. Midway's high 69. Official low temperature 51 degrees. 54 at the lakefront, and that is the warmest overnight low in the Chicago metro area. The coldest overnight low was in Aurora once again at 46 degrees, but they did experience the warmest high temperature of 69 degrees. That's on par with Midway. I wish everybody a great Sukkot. Have a wonderful Moed. Have a great Shabbos. And we're really in the midst of beautiful weather. If we can just get rid of that possible thunderstorm tonight. It's just a possible thunderstorm that might happen tonight. But other than that, it's really beautiful weather. It's really the most beautiful time of the year. Record high for today, 93 degrees. I think I mentioned that in 2017. Record low, 35 degrees in 1989. We still have C90s here in Chicago all the way through the first week of October. The last 80-degree day in Chicago occurred in the first week of November, and the final 70-degree day occurred in the first week of December. There has never been a 70-degree day here in the month of January.